Hi, my name is Elijah Foster. I was born in Honolulu, but I grew up in New York. I went to high school in Pennsylvania. That's the house that I lived the longest, so I often say that I'm from Pennsylvania. I speak English and Turkish. I served in the Central Eurasian Mission in the Turkey Mission region. I'm studying accounting because I think it's very enjoyable, very practical, and I feel that the things that I learned in the classes, in accounting classes here, or in all business classes, for the most part, I feel like it's directly applicable, and that I'm not learning things that I won't need or taking classes that I won't use in the future. And I think that it is a solid career path. I hope to be doing 10 years from now. I hope to have completed my CPA license, and I hope to have moved on from a Big Four company to a private company. I hope to apply to University of Virginia MAC program.
So this is my letter of acceptance. This is the first day out with the crew. Other Williams and my two co-workers. Studying for the GMAT. It didn't happen much because I was so busy. Having a food at the luau. My ID. This is my second job. Second of 3 jobs at the time. Here's our first meeting with the purchasing department. Here is the food and beverage warehouse with Kate, one of my 2 co-workers. Here we're examining the new system for looking at the barcodes and the scanners. Here's me in the freezer area. It's pretty cold, pretty good change of pace. This was even colder, so we're only in here for about 10 seconds. And here is our count. We went through and would count everything. Make sure that they are doing the count properly by checking some of their counts, doing a spot check. There's a head count in my other job. This is the flow chart that they gave us. Super helpful in preparing our reports, and very colorful too. Very appreciated. Here is a printed version of that. Here are some of the documents that is used in the department. We have inventory counts, and yeah. Here's a warehouse, the maintenance warehouse, the main receiving bay. So this is pretty much our job. Basically, we went through and looked at security as well as the segregation of duties throughout the maintenance warehouse, the food and beverage warehouse, and the retail area. So those are the 3 main points of emphasis, and we focused on segregation of duties during my time there. So with that said, I'm just going to give you a brief example of the kind of reports that we would go back and do. So basically, I'd say 20% of the job involved going out to the PCC to meet with people, to talk with people face to face, to go through tour of the PCC, and another 20% involved emailing correspondence from the office. The other 60% involved typing, uploading pictures, or making follow-up appointments with the people whom we were in correspondence with. And so I'm just going to read a bit of the excerpt from the audit report from Retail Segregation of Duties, which we did on July. It says, this is part of a 31-page report prepared by me and reviewed by Elder Williams from scratch. So I said on June 29th and July 7th, we met with the buying office and retail warehouse staff to discuss their business processes. Following the July 7th meeting, we were given a tour of the warehouse. On July 20th, we observed a cycle count. Though 19 people have access to make adjustments to inventory, only 6 are authorized to do so, meaning like they are actually allowed to make changes, like they wouldn't be in trouble if they did. As a mitigating control against fraudulent or unauthorized inventory adjustments, a monthly adjustments report is sent to the Internal Audit Department. This report lists all the material adjustments made to inventory throughout the month and the user who entered them. Based on these reports, the only two individuals who have been adjusting quantities on hand are person A and person B, retail manager and inventory supervisor. And then another bullet point, another excerpt, last one I'll read is, in response to the September 2014 PCC management report, in which 40% of purchase orders, POs, selected were approved after the purchase, we selected 10 recent POs for testing. Of the 10 POs selected, we found none which were processed prior to approval, marking an improvement from 2014. So they had cut down from that significantly. Here we see, on the screen, you see a meeting that we had, weekly meetings that we had, my report, and some of the stress involved, stress-induced medications that I needed to start taking, but eventually, got the hang of things. And use excellent app for taking, there's a lot of apps for taking pictures of screens and papers, like a scanner, Office Lens. There's a lot of variants. So that was super helpful for me, for us. And so I would send my my report, my draft, to Elder Williams across the building, and he would review it, send it back to me with changes and suggestions. And then we'd go back and forth about 4 or 5 times, and then we would eventually put together a recommendations list. Some of our recommendations for this particular audit, we suggest condensing the number of people who have access to both issue and make inventory adjustments from 19 to something lower. So basically, very broad recommendations. We don't tell them exactly what to do or whatnot, but we give them suggestion of what areas to look at, because we're internal auditors, not really external auditors, so it's kind of a different approach. I'd say, and another one, consider revising the retail policy to reflect current practices, namely in the area of inventory adjustments. Consider replacing the mounting bracket for camera number 2 so it can be used again. Also look into the issue of timestamps resetting to 2012 and what can be done about it, such as a backup power source. We are told that a new camera system is in the process of being ordered and manipulated, so this may not be a lasting concern. Also consider freeing up space in front of the blocked fire exit. Finally, verify the individuals who have made changes to inventory records. In the past, this has been limited to just person A and person B, we mentioned before. So that's basically how it sounds. You see this, the map of the area, just to give a good overview, and that's pretty much it. Most of my time was spent typing. I loved the job. I only had two coworkers, one of whom was gone left halfway through to go to visit home, and then came back after I left. And we were preparing for the Salt Lake City internal auditors, so the internal auditors above us, to come check out the PCC. So our job was to prepare the venues at PCC to anticipate the kind of things that the other internal auditors would look at. So yeah, here's another cycle count. Here's the report that I drafted with the help of Elder Williams, and very long report, one of 3 that I worked on over my 3-month internship. In the appendix, about half of it was diagrams, pictures, or tables, sampling data. So about half of it was data, the other half was typed words. Yeah, so in conclusion, I'd just like to give a thanks to PAS for hosting the case competition. 2 of the 3 judges were the 2 people who interviewed me, Elder Williams and Jared Hester, and it was super cool to meet them, and they already knew who I was, and that we had won the competition that they had judged, and so I was able to get this internship. They said that there were a few other people who had applied, but it was good. It was a great blessing to be able to be a part of this and work one-on-one with Elder Williams, who knows everything there is to know about everything. Like, it was just super cool. And so this is a great experience, and it all started in PAS. So thank them so much, and also Brother White for helping to make this possible and mentioning this in class and encouraging me to sign up for that. So it all comes full circle. So thank you. This is my presentation. Thanks for watching.